Whiskey's for drinking, but water's for fighting. A decade or so ago, I was a speaker at a California agricultural conference. An old-timer uttered those words. I had not heard them before, but it makes sense in a western state that fights over water, more so this year than I have ever been aware of. So what does this mean? I'm coming to you from my alfalfa field here in northern Indiana, where we get about 40 inches of annual precipitation. This is not irrigated, never will be. That's a drainage ditch behind me. It tells me that, unfortunately, for the California agriculturalists that are out there trying to make a living and now being politically and environmentally squeezed and deprived, dehydrated, if you will, of their water, things are going to change rapidly. I got a couple predictions as to why this happens. Is there a water shortage? Presumably. Do we have drought and high temperatures in the West? Absolutely. Climatological people, like I've had on my podcast, tell me that we're several degrees warmer and several inches shy of all sorts of precipitation out there. But what's it mean for agriculture? Well, it means that things like dairy, California is the #1 dairy state, are not going to happen in California. It's a water-intensive product, dairy, and why would we do it if we can't get the water? California is going to become more and more focused on that which they are uniquely capable of producing. Almonds and all of the vegetables and tree fruits and tree nuts, etc., but not alfalfa and cattle and dairy. This is just my prediction, and I by no means mean that I want this to happen. I feel for anybody that's in California trying to make a living up against the odds. 40 million people, of which only about 1 million of whom are agricultural or agriculturally oriented, and you've got an electorate that's going to stand by and let you be deprived and dehydrated, if you will. Why else is this going to happen? I had an agricultural banker on my podcast recently who said that $25,000 per acre almond property is now worth less than $10,000 because they have had the spigot shut off. Could this be environmentalism is also being backed by developers? You see, there are some forces and some industries that would like for California's agriculture to be shrunk, so that in teaming up with environmentalists, maybe we make land worth less, and then eventually it becomes developed. So I see a political fight, I see an environmental fight, I see environmentalists being used by capitalists to achieve their goal of degrading California's agricultural prowess, which is a sad thing to see. You know, it's the #1 agricultural state, California. Almost 50% more ag revenue than #2 Iowa. It's pretty remarkable, but it's going to change. Because, as I learned over a decade ago, especially out west, whiskey's for drinking, but water's for fighting. Things are going to change pretty rapidly on where things are produced, in my prediction. And places like here in Indiana, where we get plenty of water, we might see some of the benefit of that as Californians take their assets and move to where they can get water. Whiskey's for drinking, water's for fighting. Damian Mason coming at you with thoughts on agriculture.